Disruptors? I want to welcome you to another episode. This is a special episode of Your First Franchise. And I've got Tom Hodgson with me, and he is the co-founder and brand president of Shrunk 3D. And you're going to learn a lot about that. This is an entertainment business, sort of like a bounce house, if you would, to an event. So I'm going to let him explain exactly what that means. But it's a fun business. And I'm going to show the product that he's going to talk about in a moment once we start getting into the product of the brand, because it gets a ton of attention and it puts smiles on people's faces. Tom, I want to welcome you to the show. I believe you're at the headquarters today based in Charleston. Is that correct?
Yeah. We just finished up with a confirmation day today. And so I'm not sitting in my office, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to speak with you guys. But yeah, super excited to let everybody know what Shrunk 3D is.
So you're based in, or your headquarters in Charleston, and this is close the deal. I'll always love food brings people together. And I know New Orleans and Charleston have a kinship between chefs, doing chef exchanges and so forth. Amazing restaurants in Charleston, amazing restaurants in New Orleans. What is your favorite place to take someone, whether it's lunch, breakfast, or dinner, to do business in Charleston?
Yeah, we always love to take everybody down the Shem Creek. There's a ton of different opportunities there to sit out on the docks and look at the boats coming in and have some drinks with our candidates. And when it's, today's a little cooler in Charleston, believe it or not, it's like 60 degrees here today, which is, I guess, cool, which I think feels good being from Columbus. But it's a beautiful day, in my opinion. But we'll take some people out a lot of times out on Sunset Cruise and see the dolphins jumping around and do all those fun things and open up the bar and get everybody relaxed and have fun and meet the team and do what we do at Confirmation Day. But yeah, there's a lot of good food down here, a lot of good seafood. So come hungry.
Yeah, it's a great city. I love Charleston. My wife is from the Carolinas, so spent a lot of time there. All right. Who or what are you grateful for that helped you get you where you are today?
Oh, geez. Well, myself, I've been in franchising since 2007. So I've been a part of a number of different brands that I either founded or invested in. So I definitely am grateful for the International Franchise Association and a lot of the people that I've met there over the years that have really helped me be able to be a great brand president, investor of brands, and mentor now, believe it or not. Now that's why I have no hair maybe left. But that's what I did with Shrunk 3D, is that Zach and Mike are the two founders of the brand. Before they ever launched, they were looking for an investor. So I invested into Shrunk 3D and gave them the seed money to come. So yeah, just definitely grateful for the opportunities that I've had. I've been able to have that opportunity to even sell my last brand at Authority Brands, and so I'm very grateful for them as well.
That was the painting business, correct? Color World?
So Color World Painting. Yeah, that was a brand I founded.
Okay, so that's a perfect transition, because painting and Shrunk 3D are completely opposite things. Both franchises, but very different worlds you're playing in. So what drew you to invest in this brand? And let's talk about the brand itself, and how I'd like to hear how you describe it to people, and then I'll share a little bit about my experience with it.
Right. So like any good business deal, it was at the blackjack table in Las Vegas, right?
Of course.
And I sold Color World, was just transitioning out of being at Authority Brands and wanted to definitely look into something different. And I've been a part of other service brands as well, from holiday lighting to another painting brand, and to Christmas tree delivery company that we grew. And I just wanted a new challenge. Honestly, wanted something different that wasn't in the service space. Wanted to be into something that's new, different, unique. And we're having that conversation as we're playing blackjack. And one of the guys that in the franchise space said, well, there's this really cool like photography brand. I thought, just like traditional photography, like there really isn't a lot of franchises out there. Tell me more. And he's like, pulls a statue out of his pocket and is like this replica of him. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like the most amazing, cool thing ever. Like, that's what you're talking about? He's like, yeah, I just met these guys, Zach and Micah, at a franchise event, and they're looking to franchise their business. And it is like an action figure, basically, is the best way to describe it.
Mhm.
But it's print, so there's no inventory, there's this and that, and they're telling me more about it. I'm like, all right, I got to learn more about this brand. I went and met these guys and got shrunk. We call it getting shrunk.
Yep.
And I walked into the trailer and got myself shrunk. And my family was just like, this is so cool. And I'm like, I'm going to buy everybody one of these for Christmas and give everybody a little Tom to everybody.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with the brand. I thought, my gosh, there's so many things I could do with it. And from being
Mhm.
from Columbus, Ohio, all the different OHIOs you could do. And I'm just thinking my brain's racing of licensing and all this stuff that we could do with this brand. I'm like, I gotta figure out a way to invest. So that's
So,
what started.
well, I'm going to use that as a segue to the show because normally I got a black T-shirt on, a dark shirt on, but today I got my LSU baseball cap, my LSU shirt, and I had a chance to visit with the group that helps you all, uh, promote the brand,
Yep.
and they shrunk me, and I just happened to have I was in Omaha and I happened to have my outfit on, and not realizing I was going to be shrunk that day, and so they did this, and that's exactly, and the details are unbelievable. In fact, I see even had the shorts on today. The pocket wasn't zippered. It picked up those details. It picked up all the details of the shoes. Folks, y'all can see this is such a great promotional tool for two reasons, and I think you can unpack that a little bit because there's two
Mhm.
sides of this business. There's the consumer side, like the bouncer side, then there's the corporate side.
Oh,
And I see all sorts of opportunities, and y'all get NIL deals and all sorts. So maybe we can unpack that a little. I'll let you unpack that a little bit. And look at it from both sides, consumer and
yeah.
corporate.
Yeah. So think about that. Like actually, if you notice on the back side, your shirt was wrinkled up, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, the
yeah. That's right.
details. So you think about like the bobblehead industry, right? Where there's really not even anywhere where you could just go buy a bobblehead either, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's cool when you see a giveaway or at a store. But to manufacture that stuff, I mean, you have to buy quantities. I mean, the lowest quantity I've ever seen you could ever buy any of that stuff is generally in the thousands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get like a one-off statue of yourself or an action figure, like you're paying a lot of money typically. And so we
Mm-hmm.
have this ability to be able to 3D print an avatar essentially. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so so really what there's so many applications, right? I mean, you could go down rabbit holes with this brand. That's what's so fun about it. If you're a
Mm-hmm.
pet lover, you could have you and your pet get into a photo and get shrunk. And now you have this like awesome keepsake. If you are a realtor and you want to get a great housewarming gift of a couple buying their first house and holding their sign, they could put their logo of their real estate office on there and it could be used as a great gift for a housewarming present.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a corporation and you want to, sponsor a tailgate party and have everybody out, you could have the Bud Lights of the world, have a custom base and get everybody shrunk at the party for quote for free, and then invoice that company that sponsored that event. We just had a franchisee the other day book a 90-person holiday party and they're going to have the logo on there and they pre-purchasing all 90 statues ahead of
Wow.
time for a 3-hour party.
Mm-hmm.
That's do the math. I mean, that's for 3 hours of work, it's, you know,
It's a lot of revenue.
yeah, it's a lot of revenue, right? In a very short period of time. And so the idea behind this is that to kind of get to your introduction of this brand is that, you know, we aren't really a vendor. Like we're not really designed to just go out there and pay to be at some farmer's market because that's not really like, I mean, if you do that, it's for marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get your name out there, but you're not really there probably just necessarily sell. Because think about it, if you're going to spend $100, $150, $200, $300, whatever, depending on the size of the statue, range, and pricing,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to wear what you want to wear. Like when you got shrunk, you want to wear your LSU stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're probably an LSU fan and you want to like, that's you. And when you show off your statue, you want to be proud of your statue. And so if you're just walking past the Shrunk 3D booth and you see it and you learn about it, and you're like, this is the coolest thing ever, but I want to do this, but I'm not going to do it today because,
Yeah.
I want to wear what I want to wear. And so that's why we're not really a vendor where you're just like necessarily a impulse purchase, which it could be. but also at the same time, you want to be at planned events where somebody's like hiring you to come in and be at that event, and everybody's well aware that you're going to be there, and then you can get those people shrunk.
Yeah, and there's one thing that's not true to this statue. And I had these on. I didn't have glasses on when I took the statue. Now I'll say this: I presented this. I spoke to a chamber meeting. I'm sorry, a networking meeting and I showed up. Everybody's in business or dressed business casual, and I show up with a backpack in this outfit. And everybody's looking at me people know me, and they're like, well, "Why is he dressed?" Well, when I pulled this out after I explained what I was doing, after the meeting was done, I probably had 10 people walk up to me saying, I want to learn more. So the people and everybody's smiling because it's just so much fun. And I got one other one for promotional purposes, this lady right here. And this is really cool from a legacy standpoint. From a legacy standpoint, she's there with her dog. It could be the grandparents with their grandchildren, or it could be the parents capturing every stage of life every year. Instead of the yardstick and the pencil and the door sill, they capture their child growing up, doing Shrunk. It's so easy to do too. The experience was so simple. I stepped into the Shrunk, and folks, I'll have some photos on the landing page for this podcast showing the photos what the booth looks like. But it's so simple. You walk in and boom, 90 something cameras, take a picture.
Yeah,
and
there's 95 cameras, 8 projectors. It takes 2 simultaneous photos. One, it creates the mesh, and one, it creates the image. And then there's 190 images of you within 1/3 of a second. And then that's what we take those images. So like if you're in there, right, and you don't like the way you looked in it, we just delete it and do it again, right? So it's like, from that standpoint, it's just like a traditional photography, but what happens afterwards is really what makes the magic happen. So.
Yeah. Well, it shows up at my door 2-3 weeks later. It's just a fun experience all the way around. And from a branding perspective, I mean, for LSU, I know LSU even has an NIL deal, and I know you all work with NIL deals across the country.
Yep.
So they can go get players or even high schools could have to put the high school football team.
I can talk a little bit about that. What's really cool is that so one of the things that we're rolling out right now is our e-commerce site. So probably by the time this thing launches, and you put this podcast out there, that site will be rolled out. But because we have over 25 licenses, collegiate licenses across the country already, we already have the fanatics of the world knocking on our door. We just had ASU want to put us in their bookstore. There's a lot of different ways that we could do these really cool license deals with collegiate athletes. But also at the same time, LSU is actually one of the schools that we captured the mascot. So we have the tiger mascot. And so one of the really cool things that we can do with this brand is that because we create an avatar from those 190 images, we actually have a 3D designer that puts this model together. So like one of the things that we did actually with the LSU Tiger, our franchisee down in Baton Rouge, he actually had fans come into the trailer. So they would hold up their LSU's fan stuff, but we actually made it look like the tiger had their arms around the 2 boys.
Oh, wow.
And we can Photoshop that. And now we have a 3-person statue that like a family has of their favorite team with their favorite mascot and with the kids. And what a really cool collectible piece. And so we were actually showing our candidates today at our confirmation day, like some of the cool things that we're wanting to do.
Yeah.
And so people can now order that on the e-commerce site and say they want to have that photography experience. Like one of the things that we're doing at Ohio State is doing the custom OHIO on a custom Ohio State base. It looks like a football field, the Ohio State football field with the Ohio State logo. And now we could have family of 4 doing a really cool customized OHIO. And one of the things that we're working on there is that we want to have Brutus doing like the H, and then maybe a coach doing the I, and maybe their favorite player doing the other O, and then the customer could be the other O at the other end of it.
Oh, that's really cool.
Back. And so you could have these really cool keepsakes. So that's those are like 2 pieces of it. But then at the same time, it could just be wanting to buy your favorite player at Ohio State or LSU or wherever it might be, and they can do that on the e-commerce site. as well. So you could go in there and buy your favorite player, but we can also Photoshop you in with your favorite player too. So there's so many different things that we can do with this
It's
brand that
endless.
it's fun. Yeah.
It's endless. I mean, one of the guys I was talking to said you could take this and have the guy hold their arms out, person hold their arms out, maybe be a business card holder for their desk.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
Oh, we
it just goes on and on and on.
oh yeah. My wife and we always have a Halloween party with the kids before trick or treat every year. And this year we had all the parents come over with the kids, and we got our normal picture we do with all the kids outside. But on my bar, I had some bourbon out there, and there was me standing there alone like this,
Hanging on to the bottle.
and I'm like hanging on the bottle of my favorite bourbon, sitting there. People are like, "Is that you, Tom? Oh my God." And people were freaking out. Everybody's like, "Oh, I got to have one of those for, my bourbon collection or whatever." And so there's this, you could do so many fun things with this brand. Like I said, there's a pet category, there's a sports side from a licensing, there's like the entertainment. We just talked about the holiday party that we just booked. I mean, those are some big events. I mean, tailgate parties.
Yeah.
But think about it from like even a fundraising standpoint. Like there's so many like, youth
Galas.
sports organizations that are
Yeah.
always looking fun ways to raise money. There's assisted living facilities. Now, not maybe everybody can get in and out of the trailer, right? So we actually are rolling out a new product with our e-commerce site that you can actually take a picture of the front of your face and each side of your face from a cell phone right off our app on the website. And one of the things that we'll be able to do is like maybe people that are in wheelchairs or kids, because you can't necessarily wheel it into the trailer. Now we'll be able to have an avatar body built out in a wheelchair or that. And then we'll be able to put the face on there. We could actually blow up the head. So if somebody really kind of wanted more of a bobblehead type look, we could do that, or we can have it, make it look like a traditional Shrunk 3D. But we'll also be able to do like some fun things where like if you have a bachelorette party, we can have like a generic, because you might have a bunch of people all over the United States coming to one spot. So they could go onto the website, take a picture of their face. We can create like a little 5-inch statue. It'll just be one size with one kind of pose with a few different assets, like a bow tie or in suits. But there'll just be a few different assets, or it might be an LSU jersey if we're licensed, right? They can put that on there. But we're trying to give people an opportunity if you go into an assisted living facility or do a fun bachelor party like that, or whatever somebody would want to use it for. Maybe it's just like I said, somebody can't get in and out of the trailer. So we're gonna actually roll out some new options where it's not gonna be as good as going in the trailer, because obviously you're not going to capture the wrinkles in your shirt and your pants being unzipped and it's like you and what you're wearing, but we're be able to create a replica. We want to be number one in all replicas in that space. So the Columbus Blue Jackets reached out to me recently, and Johnny Gaudreau, if you're a hockey fan, you might know this, that he passed away recently unexpectedly, which is a tragedy. And so they're trying to do something really cool. So they reached out to Shrunk 3D at Columbus, and they wanted to figure out, like, is there something they could do with us? And they were kind of thinking bobblehead, right? So they said, we have this picture. Is there something you can do? And technically we can create something from a picture, but it's obviously not as good as being scanned. So we're going to do it more as a kind of like a bobblehead-ish, if you will. And then they want to like mass produce this. So, this is something that we're looking into as well. If you have a photo, what can we do if somebody's deceased? Maybe they do want to do it as a gift and not be able to necessarily go in the trailer. So we're bringing out a lot of different options as well that we can create these things for all things. And we want to be able to do that across multiple platforms. So our franchisees don't ever have to say no, like, oh, you only can be in the trailer. Well, if you can't get in the trailer, now it's a no. Or, somebody's passed away. Well, no, they have to be in the trailer. So we're trying to figure out ways so we can say yes and be able to create a replica. It might not be as, the Cadillac of like what you have, but we can still do some things differently. So I think it's important to know, as people are looking at our franchise, know that these other things, these other products are coming. The other fun thing that we're doing is a 3D sports card. Think of it like it's coming out of the photo. We're going to do some really cool stuff like that with high school sports, and be able to put a QR code on the back of it and then link it to, say, like their highlights. So if they wanted to like print off 60 of them, pass them out to all the college coaches and be able to show their highlights and do some really cool stuff. Birthday parties, just so many different things is a lower price point. So, we want to be able to book 3 or 4 parties on a weekend if you don't have like a big, cheerleading competition or a Comic-Con or something like that that you're going to that weekend. We can fill that time with, birthday parties even.
So the brand's you all definitely gonna own that space. It's gonna keep evolving. So, and I think we could probably talk for another 20, 30 minutes and just all the possibilities and all the use cases. Let's break it down to the business side. To get into the business, from my point going into the booth, it's really simple. It's like 1 or 2 people can run the business to get it going, correct? It's a really simple business model from human resources standpoint. And then what about the investment level? What does that look like?
Yeah. So just to clarify, owner-operator, absolutely. Even semi-absentee, you could hire somebody to do that, right? So there's basically 2 types of owners that we can have. From an investment side, territories, $50,000 franchise fee, the trailer and the startup kit and everything that you get with it is $125,000. So you're $175 at a minimum, right? And then you obviously want to have some runway. You want to have some marketing dollars set aside. We have in our FDDL up to like $212 or $212,000. If you might need to have a vehicle developed, if you don't, because you have to be able to pull the trailer, right? Because it is a fully mobile business that you could pull up to somebody's house if for some reason, you missed them at an event. And think of yourself as a photographer, right? A photographer could come out to your house. We want to be able to come out to your house. So we are full mobile and we can do that. And we can also charge an hourly rate to have our trailer at that event.
And the trail is really cool too. It's retro looking. It's a rolling billboard where it's a magnet to pull people in. But what about the revenue side? How does that look like?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we do we're a part of events. So that's the one thing we can't help our franchisee out with. You got to be able to go out there as a franchisee and book events, birthday parties. Like I said, get with your corporate events, find, your high school, local high schools. What's really cool about this brand is if like we were talking about my last brand, right? Color World in a painting. So if they say, for instance, they go out there and they hire, like a home advisor and they pay $100 a lead. Well, you go and paint the house and you're done, right? That lead comes gone and that's it. Well, what's kind of cool about us when we go out there and spend money in marketing to find a lead, say it's an event planner or a wedding cake topping company, because we obviously make a really cool wedding cake topper, right? So in the wedding space. So you spend $100 to generate a lead there as an example. If you're working at that event coordinator and they just found you a $12,000 holiday party to go do, well, that party goes well, right? Which, how is it not going to go well? You're just scanning people, pre-register, you go up there, you do our thing. They get their product. Obviously, they're going to love their product that they get. Guess what? They're going to get raving reviews. That event coordinator is going to be calling you back again, right? So that's what's kind of cool about it. It's like once you've built a relationship with an event planner or coordinator that handles that, HR departments, marketing teams, promotional companies that are within the market that you live in, they're always out there trying to find the next cool thing to have at an event. Well, that's what Shrunk 3D does. We attach ourselves to those events that are already existing. And so it is up to the franchisee. So you want to know what kind of revenue you're going to make? Well, I can't tell you what that franchise owner is going to do, but I can tell you more events you do, more money you're going to make. And that's how you're going to scale this business.
And the opportunities, as we've been talking about, are truly, they're endless. What about the support from your side to the franchisor?
We try to be over the top as a franchisor for support. We do have a $250 tech fee that we charge, but you get social media, you get a CRM, you get a business plan. Obviously, with our portal and all the updates that you can imagine from being a kind of a tech business, we handle all of that. Unlimited storage, the e-commerce site that we're rolling out, your website, all of that's all part of that tech fee. And then, of course, on that other side is when you upload that photo of you our
Mhm.
franchisees actually at that point done. So on the
Yeah.
back end, what we're doing is we have all the designers. So these
Mhm.
things aren't being printed out of the back of the trailer, to be clear.
Mhm.
They're these are all actually one of a kind pieces of art really that need to be designed. So we actually have 3D designers that
Mhm.
we upload those images and they take those 190 images of you and turn it into an avatar. And then they call what they call cleaning it. It's a photogrammetry is the science behind what it is that we're doing. And they clean it, they hollow it out, they turn it in there. There's back and forth between our team and the designers. And once it is rendered and it becomes printable and it's ready to go, then we upload it to our printers. Our printers then print it. We clean it. There's a thing called vapor smoothing that happens. We seal it. They dry. We box and then we ship right to the front door. So we're handle all of that for our franchisees. Now, the franchisees obviously need to step back in, obviously kind of manage that process, make sure if there is an issue with the scan, make sure to let the customer know, like we might need to rescan them if there was an issue. There's like too much movement, like a
Mhm.
dog could move inside there and it could
Mhm.
mess up where we can't create an avatar because it was moving. Uh, but there is and then obviously once you get it, you want to get want to make sure that one, they're happy with their product, and two,
Mhm.
we want to sell them another one, and three, we're getting a 5-star review on Google or something like that. So,
Love it.
well, from that standpoint, that's the only other thing that our franchisees really need to do. And one of the
Mhm.
things that we're doing that's going to be new as well from a scaling standpoint, because we already have 62 franchisees in a 2-year period of time, is that our printers going, oh my gosh, we've been manually matching this print with this statue, putting it in the box. They're like, we need to find a more efficient way. So one of the things that we're doing is we're adding a QR code on the bottom of our statues so they can like scan it, match it up, put it in there. But then we're going to redirect that QR code for our franchisees. So when somebody gets their statue here in the future, if somebody picks it up and goes, oh, there's a QR code, where's that go? And they scan it, it's actually going to take them to our e-commerce site where they can just order another
Oh,
one. So,
wow. How cool is
so
that?
that's going to be pretty cool. So we're feeling like it'll be a really easy way to be able to sell additional statues. Plus,
Mhm.
with our CRM, it also does drip campaigns back because like this is the time of year we're doing this right now, is that we can also turn in any statue, like your statue, we could turn into a Christmas ornament and you could go and
Mhm.
buy a bunch of these and give them out to everybody, which has a little
Mhm.
hook on the back. You can make it a keychain or an ornament for a tree.
This is fantastic. All right, this is a perfect place to, since we're leading into Christmas, perfect place for us to button this up. What you've been around this business for a long time, franchise business, and you've got two sides now. I mean, you got the statue side, the mini me side,
Yep.
and you got the painting world, the home services side. What is one piece of guidance you would share somebody considering going into a franchise, no matter what the franchise is? What's that number one thing you said you would share with that new candidate or that person coming into your system that helps them assure that they're successful?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to make sure that there is support, right? You want to make sure that the tools are in place for support.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure there's a good team. You feel like so, like that's what we're doing at Confirmation Day right now. Is we're introducing our candidates to our
Mm-hmm.
team. That we always like to say we don't sell franchises, we award them. So
Mm-hmm.
I think there is we want to make sure they're a right fit for us. We're a right fit for them. There's support there that you can have the ability to scale, which you can see that's what we're trying to do here at Shrunk 3D is giving these
Mm-hmm.
as many opportunities as possible to be able to say yes to a customer. And I think that's probably the most important thing is that you want to make sure that the franchisor is there to be able to support the franchisee to help
Mm-hmm.
them scale and have an answer to your questions. And so I would say I've seen a lot of businesses out there that they just want to sell a lot of franchises and then they sit and they never get opened, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just a lot of that out there that, caution. But the other thing I would say is don't get so excited about a bunch of territories either. Like go in there, buy a territory, buy, you know, buy what you feel like you want to scale. Cause I've seen that happen before where
Mm-hmm.
some people, believe it or not, don't want to be too busy. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure you're buying that franchise that fits you and fits what your lifestyle. Cause if you're retired, you just want to get into a brand. Maybe you don't want to be doing $2 million a year in revenue. Maybe you only
Mm-hmm.
want to do $500,000. Just, make
Mm-hmm.
sure those are the you're picking a franchise also that fits your lifestyle.
Very good. Well, folks, if you're interested in having a mini-me version of yourself so you can promote your own business, making other people smile, get in touch with me. I'm working with Tom and his team. It's easy to reach me. Visit closethedeal.com. Just hit the contact us button and I'll be in touch with you. And also, I've got my first book called Your First Franchise, and that's easy to find too. Yourfirstfranchise.com. I'll gift you a free copy of the book. Tom, I want to thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. This is it's fun business,
Thanks for having me.
and thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
it's blue ocean for you guys. You just keep going with all these new ideas. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And that is a wrap with Tom. We talked about the book. We talked about the website, where to find everything. And this truly is, it puts a smile on my face every time when I show it to people. People react like that and like, wow, what is that? It is a blast. I think we've got that point across. To learn more, just visit the website, closethedeal.com. Close the deal on your first franchise. And you know the drill. Be intentional and make today a great day. It's your day. Make it today a great day and have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun with it too. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.